That's a career high for you today, 43 points. Just kind of what you see, and I guess maybe the trust Doc kind of had in you to kind of run things going down the stretch, fourth quarter, overtime.
Yeah, I think, you guys have gotten to know me well over the last 7 years. Like, I just wanted to win the game. And, unfortunately, we didn't do it in regulation, which I'm sure brought some entertainment value for ESPN and everything, which was fun. But in overtime, it was just kind of about trying to make plays. And for me, I said to Damian Giannis afterwards, I always knew it would be hard to score this many points, but I think it's underrated how much it takes out of you by the time you get to overtime and going downhill every play and trying to just make a play. Obviously, there were times where tonight it was scoring the basketball, but, trying to get other guys involved when there were double teams coming, when they were going downhill, and it looked like they brought a help defender. And I thought we did, aside from turnovers, I thought we did a pretty good job of getting a good shot for most of the game.
Just what was it like being out there with those lineups with Pete and Jamari and guys that you've never been on the court with before?
We've played a lot in practice. We played a lot in play group. And I think those guys did a lot tonight to show that, they can play in this league. And it was fun to watch, honestly. It was fun to be out there with them, but it was fun to watch and see them. And I know they'll kick themselves over the play or two that they felt they could have done better on, which we all do. It's human nature. But, hats off to them and credit to them for really, showing that they're capable basketball players in this league. And they know how to play the game. I think for me, was the most fun throughout, play groups and things like that behind the scenes. It's continuing to work with them and talk to them on the IQ side of things and what to look for, and I think it showed tonight as they were making plays.
What were the conversations like with Giannis and those guys who weren't playing during the game and then after the game when you scored 43 points? Yeah,
I mean, look, I've obviously been through a lot with GA and Bobby and Brooke, and then Dame obviously being back, because he's been there since I was a rookie, and then a lot of the guys from this year. And I think, they are, like I've said in the past, they're tremendous basketball players. They're better people. And so them cheering on everybody that was on the court, them being present and really, showing their competitive juices on the bench, even though they weren't playing. I think it iron sharpens iron. It breeds competitiveness. I think brings out more competitiveness, and they did a great job of cheering on the guys on the floor, and they did a great job of taking moments to teach guys throughout that game what to look for, what maybe to do differently, what they did well, positive reinforcement. I think they did a really good job of taking guys under their wing and showing that veteran leadership, so that no matter where NBA teams, unfortunately, they're never the exact same the following year. But the mentorship that I think they showed today, a lot of these guys, as they go on in their individual careers, will be able to take with them, and it'll help them, prosper in their NBA careers.
According to at least one stat service, the only guys in Bucks history to have 40-10-5 game like you just had are Giannis, Chris, Kareem, and now you. I know the circumstances of this game were a little different, but just how does it feel to kind of be in that kind of company?
Incredible. I didn't know that. I think I've seen Giannis do that like 100 times. But, to be up there with Giannis and Chris, and obviously Kareem, but Giannis and Chris as my teammates in the past and present, I think, is incredible, because I look up to those guys, right? They've done a lot for me in my NBA career, and I think we've done a lot together. We've done a lot of winning. There's been a lot of, performances that they've put together that were needed in order to win, and tonight was, one of those ones that we needed in order to win. And I think that's what makes me most proud about tonight was we won the game. At the end of the day, and I know the circumstances, 82nd game of the year, et cetera, playoffs all settled, et cetera, but we won the game. And that's what I think a lot of the guys on the team are most proud of, because we were able to come out with those competitive juices. We were able to execute for the most part, and we were able to get a win.
Pat, we kind of talked about it in the walk-off interview, but just want to ask you again about going into Indy this time as the road team. So Bobby recently, he was saying he feels like this team is full of underdogs, right? I'm curious for you, how does that mentality, if that's kind of the mentality going into this round, which you technically are being the road team, how do you feel that helps you guys, especially with the competitive juices and keeping that spirit that you have going?
I've always felt that we've performed best with a chip on our shoulder. And sometimes it's it's easy to get comfortable, but I think we got a lot of guys that are comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think for us, that's what this series is going to be. You know, they're a really good basketball team. They play well together. They obviously beat us last year, and you know, we've seen them a bunch since, and you know, I think we know each other well as teams, and I think we know each other well as coaching staff. So I think it'll be a fun series, but I think we have a lot of guys that enjoy being uncomfortable, enjoy going into away arenas and doing our best to try to silence the crowd. And I know, you know, I played a lot of basketball in Indiana. I know they take their basketball very seriously, and I know they're, as a team, but also as a fan base, will be ready, and I know our fan base will be ready when we come back. So it's a series that we're excited for. It's a series that I'm sure they're excited for, and it's should be fun.
Hey, Pat, you've experienced, you know, deep playoff runs, first-round exits, all the above, 8 straight wins going into this one. Do you feel like, from the experience that you've garnered over the last, 6-7 years, having that level of momentum will positively affect you guys?
Yeah, I mean, look, winning brings about more winning, in my opinion, right? It's kind of a culture thing, right? If you are taking care of the habits that you can control on a daily basis, you are going to put yourself in the best chance to have success. And I think it's not something that happens overnight, but it's also not something but it is something you can potentially lose overnight if you look too far ahead. And so I think staying in the present moment is where we've been best in playoff situations, and understanding that, hey, the first game is in Indianapolis. Right? We focused on game 1. We're actually even more focused on this week to get better before game 1. And I think that's where our mindset is right now. And that's where a lot of the conversations in the locker room are right now, is how do we get better this week? Because there's things that we can improve on, even though we're coming off an 8-game win streak.
You mentioned Dame kind of being a part of the game still from the bench. Doc has talked about, him talking to Ryan and to Scoot and helping out. What does it maybe say about Dame that, he was dealt a pretty crummy hand here with the blood clot, but, for him to still be a leader and still try to help guys out from the bench while out indefinitely? Yeah,
it speaks to his leadership. It speaks to who he is as a person. And I think, I was fortunate to see it my first 3 years, right? He would do that. Obviously, he played a hell of a lot of those games. I don't think he was hurt very much at all my first 3 years, but he'd do it in practice. He'd do it in the summertime. And so now he's taking that same mindset. He's looking at it through a different perspective. Obviously, like you said, it's unfortunate. It's terrible that it happened to him. He's a great guy, and we can't control it. He couldn't control it. But he's looking through a different lens and seeing how he can impact this basketball team in a positive way, as essentially an extension of the coaching staff with a player's perspective. And I think that's really cool and really undervalued in this league. I think when you have that player's perspective, and then you're able to understand the game of basketball at that high of a level IQ-wise, and that you're able to communicate those things to younger guys and take them under your wing, and you can just see it by the improvement, right? Like, you can see what Ryan Rollins has been able to do throughout this year, coming off of a 2-way contract, right? You can see what Scoot has done over the last couple of games and really since All-Star break, and those things aren't by accident. Yes, Ryan and Scoot have put in a ton of work, but Damian Lillard has been in their ear and has been a mentor for them, and it just shows that he's able to put the things that he's unfortunately going through to the side, and put the betterment of the team first.
Aside from, obviously, the handful of core players who are still here, I'm wondering, what are some of the overlapping qualities between this team now and the championship team from 21?
I would say we went through some adversity throughout the season. I think 18, 19, 19, 20 through the season, we were really, really good. I think you guys can correct me, but I'm pretty sure we didn't lose 2 games in a row for a long period of time. The year we won it, we started out really, really poorly. We didn't start out great this year either, right? We started out pretty poorly. And so I think we've just gone through stretches this year where, we would love to be more consistent, and you never wish for adversity, but inevitably it comes, and there are different things that happen. And like we just talked about, Damian Lillard got hurt, near the end of the season, but I think through adversity brings, culture, brings togetherness, and when you come out on the other side, you're stronger because of it. So I think some of the similarities that I see in this team from that year that we won it is that we've gone through adversity, we've come out the other side, and we're more together because of it.
Pat, I know that last year is different from this year, and I know even 2 years ago, but Indiana has been a team that's kind of, it feels like you two have been brewing something up the last few years. Is there any validity to a get back series with what happened last season? Do you take any knowing what has happened the last few years with them?
I'm sure that'll be the storyline. I mean, the year we won it was Miami, right? We've had our run-ins with Miami over the course of the playoffs, and I think for us, Indiana's a tremendous team. Indiana has great individual players. They play great collectively. They're very well coached. I think we'll kind of look at it as hats off to them, but we got to focus on what we need to focus on in order to put our best foot forth. Like I said, we'll take it one game at a time. Obviously, we've played them, as you mentioned, so much that we do know things that they do at a high level. But I'm sure they're over there knowing that we know and changing some things and getting ready for counter punches and all those sorts of things. And, a playoff series, it's its own season, right? Like it's up to 7 games. You're going back and forth from city to city. You're playing the same team over and over and over again. And I don't think there's anything like it. And you can't, predict what they're going to respond with or what they're going to do even in game one and what we're going to do. I think it's kind of like a chess match. You play to your strengths in game one, you see what results come from it, and then you adjust and you tinker with it. And so I think, yes, there is definitely a lot of knowledge between the two teams, but at the same time, it's the first round of the NBA playoffs. It's the 24-25 season. It's a new playoff run, and it's one that I'm sure both teams will be ready for.
Wow, a lot of questions. This is a personal question. Your role was so big in 2019, 2022 in the playoffs. What do you see your role with this team now in the playoffs? I know you're going to be ready, but are there other leadership things that you can bring verbally or whatever on the bench, number one? And number two, I wonder, did your phone blow up, or have you gotten love from coaches or anything like that with a big game like this? Because your teammates are so happy for you.
Oh, appreciate that. No, I haven't had a chance to look at my phone. Barry stole it from me so that it didn't ring during this press conference. But I think, like I said, I've always been somebody that prides myself on trying to help impact winning. And from the role standpoint, I try to control what I can control. Obviously there's ebbs and flows to every NBA season. There's times where you score 43 points in the game. There's times where you don't play in a game, right? And I think the professional side and the mental side is you got to stay ready. You got to be ready at all times. You got to try to find a way to impact winning, whether you're on the court or off the court. You got to still have confidence in yourself that when you are on the court, you are, providing in the best chance for your team to win by being out there. And, I love the playoffs. I love the playoffs because I think, at the end of the day, the only stat that matters is winning. I think sometimes throughout the course of the regular season, NBA, in general, shifts, and sometimes you look at statistics, analytics more than you look at the result of the game. But at the end of the day, the most important stat is winning, and that's something that I think I can help provide, whether I'm on the court, off the court, whether I play 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 0 minutes. I think that's one thing I'm confident. My right arm and, impacting winning are the two things that I don't really lose confidence in.